Ooh, hello, good morning, friends. This is your girl Sherry. I am 5 miles in, actually 5 miles over, but I wanted to come and say good morning to share something that the Lord shared with me on my trail this morning. So, many of you know I've been walking, probably found this trail the end of April, most of May. I've been walking, and I started out doing 1 mile, and I realized, oh, I can do two. And then one day I was out here walking with somebody, and before we knew it, I was at three. The next time I turned my music on and was praying and talking to God, it became four, and it seemed like it just got easier and easier to do. Right, so I call this my happy place. This is really my time. I really don't like earbuds, even though a lot of people around here, like to put the earphones in. I'll just turn my music. I put it in my little fanny pack and turn it on because I like to hear the birds. I like to hear the crickets or whatever that stuff is in the grass that's chirping and clicking. I like to hear all of that as well as with my praise and worship music. So, anyway, today I started out and I decided I normally go one direction, right? You get in a habit of going the same way. And the last couple of times I've been challenging myself to go do the trail in reverse. I started at the same starting point, but just flip it around. And what I've noticed is it is a little more difficult to go the other route. One, because I think my body already has a certain amount of muscle memory. And so as I'm going down a hill, my body knows, okay, kind of squat down some, Sherry, and almost like you're sitting in a seat so that you don't fall forward, and then you know how to pull the hill. You kind of lean your upper body forward to pull the rest with you. And so my muscles, I think, have muscle memory and they already know what to do. Well, when I go in reverse, it's a little more challenging because my mind says, oh, this is the same place, but all of a sudden my legs are acting, they're not acting accordingly. They're a little stiffer. It seems like I'm having more difficulty in certain parts of the track. And so even for the first 2 miles I did, oh no, okay. So yeah, around the first 2 miles, I even saw two people that I knew from church. They were walking two different groups and we high-fived and said, hey, keep doing, do your thing. But we were going in opposite direction. One of the things the Lord brought to my attention is that there are going to be people on your path, right? But they're walking in a different direction, or they're meant to be out here only for a moment, because I saw them for the first 2 laps, and then because they had gotten out here earlier than myself, they were done. And I was still the one who had to stay the course and finish what I had to do. So yes, along the way, there are going to be people who you can high five. You don't necessarily stop and walk with them, but you can encourage them on their way. But then realize when it's time for them to get off the trail, it may not be your time. You still have to put your work in. So that's one. Two, I mentioned that I don't like to put earphones in, but yesterday I was traveling through the airport and purchased some earphones. And if you ever notice when you get new earphones, they're usually three different sizes for the buds that actually go in your ear. Well, I didn't take the time to test it. I just picked the ones that were in the box that were attached. But what I noticed as I went around, even the first time, it kept popping back out of my ear because I didn't make the adjustment. I didn't customize it for me. So my ear canal is not conducive, or either the earbuds that I had are not conducive for my ears, right? I couldn't hear the music that I was trying to listen to because it kept popping out, right? And so again, just as people are supposed to be in your path for a moment and then sometimes then they're gone, sometimes you have to realize that your walk is custom made for you. So what may have worked for someone else is not necessarily going to work for you, right? So you have to take the time, you have to take the moment, the opportunity to get the right size earbud to place in your ear, so the earphones, so you can hear God a little more clearly. So even in my praise and worship music, the praise and worship music was still going, right? I could still sing along with it, but it kept slipping out because it wasn't meant for me, right? God's message doesn't change, but I wasn't in tune because I hadn't taken the time to get the right earbud that fit my ear canal, right? So anyway, I just took them out. I'll fix them later, but I decided just to be in the atmosphere and enjoy what was going on out here. So then lastly, what did God show me? My first 2 miles around, I'm going to get out of the sun for a moment. The first 2 miles around, again, I mentioned I struggled a little bit. I can usually do about 3.3 miles per hour. And I noticed because I do the little thing on my phone that kind of tells me how many miles I've done, how long it's taken me, my speed. My average speed was only 1.9 miles. Well, because I was struggling. I was seriously struggling, y'all. And it wasn't until I finally made up in my mind on that third round, I was like, okay, God, what are you really saying on this path? And so I began to pray and began to really listen to the music and sing a little bit more. And what I noticed was my third time around, my mindset changed just a little bit. So when I got to a certain part that was a hill, that kind of I struggled with for those first 2 miles, what I didn't get off the track. I didn't go on the grass. I didn't try and cut across. I started running. You would say, idiot, why would you run up a hill? But what I noticed was this, the same hill I'd passed twice before, when I started to lean forward and run, my arms began to propel me, right? So my legs were fatigued and leaning, it was struggling. But what I realized, I had to tap into something else, another part of me, another dimension of myself, another part of my body. And when I used my arms to swing, my body propelled forward and I was able to make the hill. Coming through, Jesus, come through. Again, I did not get off the path, but I changed my experience with the path, right? So I just want to encourage you guys. I'm out here. I don't know if you can actually see all of y'all. I'm telling you, it's just beautiful. Why wouldn't you want to be out here? The path has never changed. It's still a 1 mile track. You can either do 1 mile, half a mile, or quarter of a mile. The goal doesn't change. The goal is still to get through a mile and go back again. So that didn't change. But what changed? I changed because my experience changed. I changed because I changed direction. I changed because my attitude changed, right? So the first 2 miles I struggled. That next mile I did, I was back to 3.3 miles per hour because I was able to run a little section of it. I was able to, my whole mentality, because God was speaking to me, I was like, oh, okay, God, I do hear you. Forget the earbuds. It's just you and me and nature. And so I'm going to go through this. So I don't know why. Somebody just needs to hear this. Shoot, I just need to hear for myself. Maybe I'm just recording this for me so I can play this back when I need to be reminded. Your call is not Your call has not changed. The assignment is still the same. Your experience in the calling or in the shifting might be different. But also, not only your experience, you have to make sure that you change your mindset and don't allow that hill that wanted to take you out. You tap into something else. You ask the Holy Spirit to help you, to guide you, to pull you. And that's exactly when I started swinging my arms. I was able to leap through that hill and it was no problem, right? And so guys, just be encouraged, whether you're walking, whether this is school, whether this is job, whether this is your health, whether this is your relationship, the assignment is still the same. Change your perspective. Enjoy the different experience, right? Because you may have to experience something else in order to get through to the end. Be thankful and grateful for the people who are on the path that can high five you, but then realize that there's a time that they have to get off the path and you have to finish the course by yourself. Okay? So, whatever this did for you, wonderful, but this blessed my soul. God bless me on my 5-mile trek today. I may not get back out here tomorrow. Who knows? But I'm telling you, the Holy Spirit, just as I'm lying in the bed every morning, it's like, why not, Sherry? Why not? I'm seeing my body change. I looked in the mirror the other day and I was like, am I getting old? Oh my God, look at my neck. And I just realized, no ma'am, your double chin is leaving you. It is gone. Hallelujah. Come through, Jesus. No more double chin. Anyway, guys, be blessed today. Go and do something different. Realize that God is not forsaking you, that God is on the path that you're on. He may be taking the opportunity to help you to experience it from another viewpoint. So until next time, love you and enjoy your happy place. Toodles.